So this is and this is very important when you come to application. Even in pharmacy, if the sometimes, of course, this one is a bit clear, but when it comes to the application and the examiner, you'll see some other opinions when it comes to something specific, like for formulation. If you take it for formulation, if the claim, for example, for something specific or specific polymer or polymeric structure, then you want to claim more general than that one, they can use it to kill your novelty. So, but in our pharmaceutical is a lot of like debates about this. But in something clear like this, metal and one metal, they can use it. If a range for temperature or a range of flow rate or a specific feature, the specific kill the generic. Range of value in a claim. So if the prior art between 25 to 63, for example, for a process for heating or process for doing something, extraction or something, then you want to claim between 10 to 100, you cannot. You are considered not novel. It is very important for the people who are doing process, extraction process, manufacturing process, chemical engineering, and so on. So this is very important. Other way, can provided that you need to prove there is a specific feature happening in this range. It's not like randomly you're picking up a range because you want to patent that one, because you know it works from 10 to 100. So basically the one that now we're talking about opposite way. If someone claim if someone prior art is 10 to 100, you already patent that it works from 10 to 100, and now you want to patent something process between 25 to 50 or to 63. If you just apply like that one, it will be rejected because you are still under that one until you prove you can be patented. If you prove there is, of course, difference in the range, not exactly close to the size, and there is something like an unexpected feature happening here. Like, and this range, something unexpected will happen. For example, like very high increase in the yield, something like this for chemical engineering. Because the one that who came from 10 to 100, they assume they are same. But now you came to say between 25 to 63, there is very specific thing happen that is unexpected. Then you can get no, it's considered novel for this one. But the other way, completely, yeah. If the prior art is small, you want to claim wider, cannot. And here it comes to a trick when you want to draft your patent, how to make it like to protect from, to get wider protection. Specific value in a claim. So if the prior art, the one that available already from 10 to 100, I want to claim specific temperature, specific point, can, because it's not explicitly disclosed in the prior art. Of course, you need to prove why 63. There is something happening at 63 exactly, not just picking up a temperature that works for you. Cannot. Need to prove something happening here. So this one can be considered novel. Or I think it's not just if you take 63, but you prove your invention work at this temperature, you can get patent but at this temperature only. Of course, now your protection is not very wide, because if someone uses 64, is not infringing your patent. You are getting a very very narrow range of protection, but still considered novel. Okay, I think I will move to one the slides because of the time. I cannot like reproduce them, so I will use them directly from the training of MyIPO. So it's quite annoying. How to... Okay. This one I think we already covered. Okay, so here what we mean by prior art. So everything made available to the public by means of written description, oral description, even discussion of something, by use or any other way before the date of filing of the application. So starting from the filing date of the application and before. So everything available to the public is considered prior art. Even if you disclose it to your friend, still considered disclosure and prior art. If he can prove later, if you want to infringe your patent, or if you want to invalidate your patent, he can prove that you disclose that one to him and consider he can invalidate your patent.
Dr. Adel Manam.
Available to the public by means of everything that the public has access to anywhere in the world, in any way, before the filing date. So anyway, as I mentioned, now it's very common to do like Facebook or Instagram. Sometimes accidentally you take picture with in your lab with the device that you want to patent, but it becomes available. So if someone finds it and he see that it's the one that you submit for patent, he can actually invalidate your patent. Everything made available to the public by means of one or more person not bound to confidentially who could pass to the information or a description or any other way. So anytime you want to disclose something or discuss something with industry or team or something, try to sign non-disclosure agreement or confidentiality agreement so that they cannot disclose the patent, and if they disclose it, then you can sue them. Written description. So document in any language, produce in any number of copies, reproduce in any manner. So you can see like including publications. This is also dangerous conference. Means you attend the conference and they publish the poster. Even if you just put the poster there, someone take photos and so on. And you still maybe you still have 1 year grace period, but if no, you didn't submit, they can use it to invalidate your patent. During a conversation, so oral description, conversation, lecture, radio, television, tape, record, anything. By use, like by producing, offering, marketing, okay, a product or a process. I think the doctor here mentioned about the system. So if they are using it, so it's considered prior art by use. This is why we cannot actually patent something people are using. If the people are using, for example, the what we call something for mining or something for in the farming, but there is no patent for it. Just a tool it's already known to the people in the farming. You cannot patent that one because it's actually prior art by use. Even though you search actually there's no patent, you think, okay, I will patent this one, you cannot, because it's known to the public by use. All other possible ways of disclosing information like CD-ROM, internet, anything. Okay, so anything before the date of filing is considered prior art. So if the date of filing is 1st January 2011, so everything before that is considered prior art. Okay, for example, this one was, this is, I think, a real example in UK, I think. They tried to patent this one in 2011, but the examiner found something similar in 2008. So basically, they cannot file the patent for this one. Maybe in another country, in any other way, as far as available, they can. So how to determine the novelty? So as we mentioned before, identify the features of the invention, determine if a document under consideration forms parts of the prior art, assess whether each and every feature are disclosed, and construct a novelty table. So this is what we see before, like analyze the features of your claims and the features of the prior arts, the closest prior arts. Like this feature A, B, C, then if it's not exactly same, it's considered new or novel.
One of the value add, they have one of the then our product.
Yes. If it's not containing all the features, it's novel. For example, if you take this one, a vehicle comprising this one. This is actually how you can see the claims. It's written in this way. A vehicle comprising a steering handle, a front wheel, a rear wheel, and a deck. So this is the invention. And this is the prior art. So is the invention one new compared to this one? Do you think? See the feature of this one. Does it has a steering handle, front wheel, rear wheel, a deck? So basically, it's not novel, even though it looks novel, but it's not. So it's not new. How about this one? This is your invention. This is the prior art, basically same. A vehicle comprising steering handle, front wheel, rear wheel deck, and a foldable mechanism. For this scooter. Is it new for this one? Yes, because it has an additional feature, foldable mechanism. You can see it has a foldable mechanism. So the lack of novelty, the invention is considered lack of novelty if every feature or step, feature usually is for the product, step mostly for the process, and the claim is explicitly or implicitly disclosed with the relevant prior art, including any feature inherent to a person skilled in the art. So basically, you can see here, basically we compare with the picture only. We don't know what is the written in the claim. But even it's not written in the claim steering handle for this prior art, but it's already appear in the picture. So does it need to be explicitly, maybe implicitly there? So here we can see that implicitly it has steering handle, even though maybe in the claim they didn't write it, but it's appear in the figure. And anyone in the skilled in the art in this field can know that this is a steering handle.
دكتور عبد المنعم، السلام عليكم.
If you are still under their scope, they are more general. Yes, you need to get the license.
Can you hear me, Dr. Abdul Man'am?
A document prior art takes away the novelty of the invention derivable directly and unambiguously from that document, including any features implicit to a person skilled in the art. What is explicitly mentioned? Explicit implicit disclosure. Mean explicit is clear, very precisely and fully stated in the claim written. Implicit is derived from what stated or what from appear in the figure. But usually novelty takes something very clear, either directly written or from the pictures, just appear directly. No need to think a lot. This is regarding novelty, not the inventive. Inventive step we see it later is more difficult. But novelty is something very clear. So if you see feature 1, 2, 3, 4, don't think much beyond that one. If it's appear like the one in the field can know this is okay, this is a steering wheel, this is a wheel. You put it as a feature. Other than that, no need to go further. This is why you can see the utility innovation is much easier to be granted than patent. Okay, I think this one we already covered. This is also another example for the equivalence. If the invention is a device comprising screw and bolts, the prior art, a device comprising fastening means, you cannot interpret fastening means as screw and bolt. The prior art doesn't take away the novelty. So in this case, your invention is novel because the prior art is general. Fastening means you are specific to screw and bolts. So you are considered novel. Okay? But if it's other way, then maybe cannot. Combining documents, it's not allowed to combine two documents to kill the novelty. Combination within the prior art itself, it's also not allowed to combine different embodiment inside the same prior art. Embodiment mean the examples. In the patent science, embodiment is the examples, how to apply. For example, when we patent formulation, there is different variation of the formulation. We put everything as example. Example 1, example 2, example 3. We call it embodiment. So you cannot even combine two embodiments to kill the novelty. Embodiment 1, for example, disclose these features. Embodiment 2, different features. You cannot combine them to kill the novelty. Drawings are only diagrammatic. Caution is required. So basically, just take it clearly. Don't go much to interpret it deeply in the drawing and in the written statements. This is for novelty. Giving a product a different name doesn't make it novel unless the name implies certain technical feature. So if the prior art paracetamol product of a mole, then of course it cannot be at this point. It's not considered novel because the active ingredient is same paracetamol. But this is not about formulation. It is only about the principle of using the name. So like if you rename something, it's not considered like you change it. Generic terms and specific terms. So we already made specific kill the generic in the patent science. For example, specific iron gold, generic metal. Generic vehicle, specific car, bus, train. If generic fastener, then the specific screw, bolts, and so on. So always the specific will kill the general, the generic. Okay. range and values. We already explained this one. Okay, this one, the doctor question. Selection of invention related to subject matter which selected from a range. If a prior art between 5 to 120, then your invention is a narrower range. Then you need to prove unexpected technical effects of the invention, like process more efficient, higher yield, or something very specific happening in this range, like unexpected from the normal range between 5 to 120. In this case, you are allowed, you are considered novel for this range. I think this is very important for the process people and chemical engineering and extraction and so on. Okay, if it's the narrow range, there's 3 criteria. Narrow compared to the non-range, sufficiently remote from the values in the edge values, and not arbitrarily taken, purposely selected from this range, but you need to prove there is something special happening there. So this is the criteria. Okay, this is also very important for pharmaceutical and medical applications. Medical use of substance. First, medical use. If a known substance is discovered to have a medical use, a patent may be granted for that substance for that context. So for only the first medical use. This applies only the first time that the medical use of substance is proposed. This is an exceptional circumstances under which a claim invention can be allowed to a substance that already known. So, for example, this is applied to the extracts and the traditionally extracted materials. For example, alpha mangosteen is already known, already extracted. So we cannot patent that one. But if it's not known to have medical effect, but you discover that it has anti-cancer, you can patent this use in anti-cancer. The use of alpha mangosteen as anti-cancer, you can patent that one. But after, for example, another lecture discovered that it has anti-inflammatory effect, they cannot patent that one. We can patent only the first medical use of a known substance. Okay? But for the substance that is chemically synthesized, you can patent the chemical itself, because that one is produced completely from new scratch. But if it's already known, something is already in the nature, traditionally available, you cannot patent the material, but you can patent the first medical use of it. And here we can find that it's very hard for companies or pharma to invest in traditional medicine or extracted medicine, purified one, because they cannot get monopoly. Doxorubicin is chemically synthesized. Actually, the patent, the first one, they patent the doxorubicin itself, including everything, any use of it, they can patent because they chemically synthesize it. So it's not new to for them. No, cannot. Only the first one. Right to new use, new medical indication. Is it chemically synthesized one? If chemically synthesized, it is still under protection. But after 20 years, it becomes free. After 20 years, it becomes free. But you cannot patent the use for it in other indication. New chemical. You cannot patent that one. You may get an indication from NBRA to use it and to commercialize it or so on, but in terms of patent, you cannot patent.
Okay. So this is the question again after they done with the account, right?
Not necessarily. I mean, if it's in cell culture, it's fine. As far as the new, because these extracts usually they do only research. I mean, it's a very early research. For example, the one that
then other people, the charity can always buy or they can extract them, right?
yes,
So what is our
protection to use alpha mangosteen as anti-cancer.
for them?
Researchers, of course, can, but in terms of using it commercially, they cannot. For example, institute, hospital or something. But for drugs, it's not like simple like this because they need to develop a product, meaning that pharmaceutical company cannot make a product from that one as anti-cancer. They need to get license for you. But it's, I think the reason, I think it's not viable for such thing. The company, the pharma, they don't invest in such one because if they want to patent like this, usually we quickly go for publication, is it? I think majority they are not aware about patent and so on. And when you discover that anti-cancer, it is still very far to be commercial, at least 10 years, is it? To be formulated, to prove its safety, for clinical trial. And who will invest in such 10 years? Yeah, maybe, but it's a bit quite time, 6-7 years. It can be patented, provided that it's known, the material is known, but it has no medical effect. You discover the first medical effect for it.
What the critical diseases?
No. No, the first medical use. Is it any medical use? No problem. But the material should be known not to have medical use. You discover that it has medical use. And this is a very difficult. They are all under this one is all considered medical use. As far as it's used for medication or so on, they will consider it, I think, medical use, whether it's cosmetic or so on. Because this is not they are not a specific, like we distinguish between traditional, non-traditional, cosmetic, and so on. For them, it's all medical use. So this is the example. If the substance X is known for non-medical use, it's already available, like just available, but no one knows it has medical use. Then someone invented it or found it has a curing for disease. Why? They can. I mean, for a medical use. This is example. Just example. It's allowed, but not for the substance itself or the use of the substance in this particular medical use. But Another one, they can make a product for it for another use, but you are protected for anti-cancer, for example. I think one example here, what we call the anti-malaria drug. The other one? If it's known already, but not known for medical use, but suddenly they found it's used for anti-malaria, they can patent that one, that use. Second and third medical use, if substance is known to have a medical use, no patent can be granted for further medical use. So only the first medical use of the substance. Second and further, no. So if substance X is known for curing disease Y, then cannot be granted to cure disease Z, for example. But this is the regulation of patent. Of course, for drugs, we have another regulation with NBRA and FDA. That one is different. That one not related to patent. That one for prescription and for manufacturing and what is to write in the indication. That one is completely different. But this one regarding the patenting. This is some tricks actually. They call it Swiss type claim. So for example, second medical use, substance X is known for curing disease Y. The invention, the use of substance X to manufacture a product for curing disease Z, this one can be granted. This is just twisting the way how to write the claim. But it will be for the product that used for curing the disease, like a formulation. You can get patent for the formulation and make the formulation very wide to cover everything, then can be granted. But now you can see it's for product. It's not for the use. It converted it to product. We call it Swiss type claim. Just remember that we are talking about novelty only. We didn't touch the inventive step. So novelty you pass novelty, so you'll be entitled at least for utility innovation. But for patent, you need to pass the second problem, which is the inventive step. Usually novelty is very clear, very obvious. There is not much subjectivity for novelty. The subjectivity comes in the inventive step. Because for you it looks inventive, others may look not inventive. Very subjective, but novelty is quite clear. Okay. Any question about novelty? But these are some of the important terms to know about how patent novelty works. What can happen actually?
دكتور عبد المنعم.
Okay. The second criteria, which is the most important, is the inventive step, and the most problematic, most difficult to write, most difficult to defend when you want to communicate with the examiner later. They will mostly attack you in the inventive step. So inventive step would not have been obvious to a person have ordinary skill in the art. So this is the meaning of inventive step. The invention should not be obvious to someone with knowledge and experience in the same technology field of the invention. Okay? So it should not be obvious. So as you can remember them, novel mean new, inventive mean not obvious. So this is just to remember them, but now you can understand what is the meaning of non-obvious. And here is the problem. More than one prior art individually and in combination can be used to attack the inventive step. So the one that we compared before, they cannot be used, the watering pots and so on cannot be used to attack novelty, but they can be used to attack the inventive step because you can combine. Who is the person having ordinary skill in the art? We call it Fosia. Fosita. A hypothetical, non-inventive skill in the field, aware of all that commonly known in the art, common general knowledge. So someone in your field, your peers, or someone, just imagine someone who is in your field, have the general knowledge in your field. This is the one that we imagine he can, your invention, is it obvious for him or not? This is who is the Fosita. The problem-solving approach to determine the inventive step is similar to the using the feature analysis. We determine Fosita and choose the closest prior art, as mentioned. Usually, even we compare 2 or 3. Rarely we go more to 4 and 5. But try to find the closest 5, then maybe you can select from them the closest 2 or 3 to compare with your claims to see if you are inventive or not. What is the difference between the closest prior art and the claimed invention? What are the additional technical features? What is the technical effect produced by these features? Formulate objective technical problem. How to modify the prior art to achieve the technical feature in your patent application. Then consider whether the claimed invention starting from the prior art and the objective technical problem would have been obvious to a skilled person. Okay, so find basically in short, to find the closest prior art and compare it with your invention. See what you have more. What are the technical effects you have more? Then imagine one from your field, if you use this prior art, can be easily go to your invention, like just using common knowledge. If he can make that thing, then it means your patent is not having inventive step. I think, sister, can you use your example just for general discussion? Sister, we just have a short discussion. It's just not to discuss exactly your patent, not a general discussion, because I want to take some real examples. Because most of the examples in the training are using the general things about and cleaning, what we call mop and so on. Most of that one. But I want to try something exactly close. Okay, I can. Should I? Okay.
There's no question, I think, but the Prof. Mefta is asking if they can ask questions directly.
They cannot speak.
Yeah, Assalamu
I
alaikum.
think they want to speak, but okay, Prof. Mefta.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I mean, they can't use the mic maybe because of the restriction from the
Hang on.
from the owner.
That's why I was talking. Yes.
Ask them if they can use or they are prohibited.
Can you ask?
Online.
Yes.
Online attendees, you can use the mic or cannot? Because sometimes there's restriction in the application.
No, but Sister Amy, can you hear me?
Maybe someone can speak.
We cannot hear that. Cannot hear him.
Oh, you cannot hear me.
Can listen. Brother Me.
Assalamualaikum. Yes, doctor.
Brother Ami. I think
Brother Ami, can you speak?
Yes,
Brother Ami, Assalamu alaikum.
this is Prof. Miftah. Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Yeah, the voice coming from you.
No.
Also, the voice coming from the projector. Okay. I think the problem was this one. They connect to use the. So they give me this one to connect to the speakers, but it looks like it goes to the. Okay, I think now we can hear you. If someone wants to ask, we can hear the.
Okay.
Your
Dr. Abdul Manam, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
All right. This is Prof. Miftah from College of Engineering. Actually, just when you presented about the prior arts, I want to ask, anyway, for my case, probably not, but just I want to ask. We published, it is our work that we publish it before actually applying for the patent, but it is not, I mean, we are the first to do it. I mean, even if you check the literature, it was not done before. Is it possible to patent now or is too late?
Within 1 year of publication in Malaysia, you are still be able to apply for patent. After 1 year of publication, you cannot. Because this is, we call it a grace period. They give a grace period of 1 year. If it's already more than 1 year from the date it's published online, then it's already over.
I see. Okay. 1 year from the publication date.
Yes.
All right. All right. Thanks.
They will come. The publication and the patent, how long they can, they publish already, they can patent or not. Within 1 year, they can patent. After 1 year of publication, cannot patent. It's already over. We consider prior art for you. This is the safe side, but there is an allowable period special for publication. Special for publication 1 year. But this is special for application. To be in the safe side, patent first. Yes, then they will tell you if it's more than 1 year, no wait. Within 1 year, you need to go very quickly. Because in Malaysia, this is current regulation, but it may be updated next year to be 6 months, we don't know. This is why the safe side, patent first. Okay, for we discussed about some example for the what is the meaning of jasness. The researcher here did optimization for extraction. Okay, she asked if he can patent this process. I would say the equipment and everything, the process is already known. They change the parameters, for example, the temperature, the amount of solvent, and so on. But if you search the internet, you will find that a lot of publications regarding this one. They did some research to find the optimal parameters. Maybe this one can pass the novelty, because if the publication, for example, they use the same solvent, but temperature is different. But here it comes the question. If someone from your field find these publications. Can he do something similar to what you have done? In my opinion, they can do. But they just need to do some experiments, and it's a standard thing to find the optimal parameters. Then I think in this case, in my opinion, it's not patentable. You can go for utility innovation maybe, but not patentable. Because it's merely about the optimization, and a lot of prior art using research methodology, research surface methodology is already available. You're using, for example, extraction with organic solvent is already available. Using drying already available. Maybe not in one document. One document use research methodology. One document use drying. One document use this one. And for novelty, we cannot combine. But inventive step, we can combine them together. If we combine these documents together, someone from the field, if they found this document, can he reproduce your work? I think it's possible. Then you cannot. It becomes obvious to the person skilled in the hub. Okay, we have more explanation. I will prefer to go straight directly to the supplement here. Okay, so this is regarding the problem-solving approach for inventive step. So these are the steps which we already summarized. So what is the closest prior art? This is the item of prior art belonging to the same or closely related technical field as the invention, disclosing the greatest number of technical features, directed to the same or similar technical problem, and normally is a written disclosure. So this is basically what we consider the closest prior art. So mostly it will be a patent. In most cases, sometimes, or in the rare, this common is a publication. But if it's your publication, they will find it the most closest prior art is your publication. Then, but generally it's a previous patent.
When you read research and now requirement like each student they have to have two publications on the research process. So when he or she is doing this in the research time period, then how can they go for patent or something after the initial research?
This is the you have 1 year. You have 1 year from the publication. There is also, this is my personal opinion, which also discussed with sister. Publication take very long time, is it? For peer review and then acceptance, then after that publication. Submit for application and submit for patent together concurrently, because patent will take for some 2 to 3 months. As far as it's not published, it's not available to the public domain. So by the time it's published, it's already patent. Already filed. Because publication, if it's normal and a high quality publication, usually it's slow, 4 to 5 months, 6 months sometimes, if it goes straight. Patent, I think within 1 month to 2 months, you can file the patent. So submit together. Okay, so what is this is the closest prior art. Find something as a more features as your patent or as your application and in the same technical field. Sometimes you find something close, but it's a different technical field. Don't consider it much because same it in your technical field. So what are the difference with respect to the closest prior art? So the feature which make the subject matter of the claim new with respect to prior art only, they are identified by comparing the combination of technical features. The feature of claim which are not disclosed in the prior art are the distinguishing feature. So for example, if your invention is this one, we name it invention because it's not yet patent, is it? So we call it invention or your patent, future patent application. So a device comprising feature A, B, C, prior art is lacking feature C. So this is the feature we are looking for. So what is the technical effect achieved from this feature? So what this feature make? Now find what this feature make. Add to the prior art. There may be no technical effect over the prior art. So the distinguishing feature of the invention provides a similar technical effect that is being provided by the different feature or element. Okay, sometimes, but in most cases, there is something come from this feature. Then, what is the objective technical problem to be solved? So if the closest prior art doesn't provide all the effects of the invention that relate to the distinguishing technical feature, then the problem to be solved is how to modify the closest prior art to achieve the technical effect from your invention. Okay? So here, see your invention is to solve, for example, extraction of back to alpha mangosteen. Alpha or beta mangosteen, Prof. Tahir? Which one you want? Alpha mangosteen or beta mangosteen? Beta. So if the extraction process is to get the highest yield of beta mangosteen, then in your extraction process, you have there is prior art to extract it using the what we call the succeed or what the name of the device for extraction. Succeed the device, but in your this is already available in the prior art, but in your invention you added another step. For example, you added for example another solvent, or you added another step to the equipment itself, or you change the temperature. So what is the technical effect come from this feature? Okay, so to know if you are inventive or not, go back to the prior art, the original available extraction method. See how can we modify it to become your invention. Is someone from your field can just use the general knowledge available to modify that one to come to your invention? If you feel that anyone in this field can basically change the temperature to get higher yield, because changing the temperature is already known to increase the yield, for example, then basically it's not inventive, because someone in the field can use general knowledge to modify the prior art to come to your invention. Okay? So this is the criteria. If you find someone in your field can modify the prior art using the general knowledge to reach your invention, then your invention is obvious and considered does not include inventive step. Is it understood as general? Maybe if some examples will come later, but this is the criteria for inventive step. And you can see it has some subjectivity, because for me it may be, I consider a skilled person can do it, but for another one he may consider a skilled person cannot do it. And here where it comes, actually most of the report from examiner is to negotiate this one. Now step 5 is the solution as claimed obvious. If the whole prior art does not provide an indication that would prompt skilled person to solve the problem, then the solution is not obvious mean inventive. I think as we discussed, if the prior art discloses the same way of solving the objective technical problem as the invention and indication, combine the solution to achieve, then the solution is obvious and not inventive. Now, is the solution as claimed obvious if the problem is to provide an alternative and indications to the prior art, prompt the skilled person to adapt or modify to arrive to the subject matter, then it's obvious. Okay, I think if you read this one, it become more confusing. The one that I summarize for you is a bit more clear. So now, if you take this example, and remember for inventive step, you can combine. You can combine, meaning that if prior art disclose the use of succinylate and another prior art disclose the use of another device, a bit similar, but not really succinylate, but they increase the temperature to achieve more yield, then someone from skilled in the person, they can just combine these two together to know that if I use higher temperature with succinylate, I will get more yield. Then they can use these two documents together to kill your inventive step. For example, coffee cup with a rubber handle. So this is, for example, coffee cup with a rubber handle. This is the one that you want to patent, your invention. The problem, the air-like handle of, this is the problem that you want to solve. The air-like handle of coffee cup are often quite slippery. You can therefore easily drop the cup. The result can be stained, carpet, table, whatever. Such coffee stains are usually very difficult and impossible to clean. The solution, rubber is used as material for the handle. This increases the friction between the handle and the fingers of use. So this is actually the field of invention, the problem, the technical solution, and so on. But what we claim, this is actually the most important part. What we claim is what we protect. Only this coffee cup with an air-like handle characterized in that the handle is made of rubber. Okay, this is the claim. Let's see if this claim is having inventive step or no. Okay, the examiner found 5 relevant prior arts. The first document, he found coffee cup with an air-shaped handle compared to a handleless coffee cup. So it's easier to hold since the air is less warm than outside the cup. So this is a prior art. A cup with this air. This cup doesn't have air. So they invent this invention with air. The solution is to protect from the heat. So this is one prior art. You can see it doesn't actually, it's not similar to one because it doesn't have rubber. So it's our is novel compared to this one, no problem. But let's see the inventive step now. Another prior art, document 2, usually they name it D, because document D2, thermos bottle with a rubber covered handle. The choice of this handle material make it relatively insensitive to high temperature. It also allows steady grip of the handle. Finally, the elastic property of the rubber cover allows it to be made in one piece, which be removable, fixed to the handle is. Okay, so this is, it has rubber, but it's not a cup. Our invention is a cup with rubber. So not, this is a cup, but now rubber. This is a thermos, but with a rubber. Another example, they found stock pot with air-like rubber handle. The purpose of this rubber is to avoid the temperature, avoid the burning. Document 4, frying pan with rubber handle. So it has tendency to get greasy. Then with this, when the food is prepared using oil, when the handle made of becomes slippery, there is a danger that user might drop the pan. The handler are therefore made from friction increasing rubber in order to overcome this problem. We have also document 5, oil can are used in gang rigs for various machine parts, vehicle. The handles of the cans get oily and therefore slippery. As a consequence, the can gets difficult to hold, making the handle from rubber makes the handle less slippery and therefore easier to hold. So this is 5 closest prior arts found, the examiner found. So what do you think? Is it's for all of them, we are novel, no problem, because there is no similar one, combine all the features. But is it inventive or no? What do you think? If you are one from this is a general knowledge, so anyone actually can discuss it. But it will become more difficult when when you have skilled person in the arts. So if you are chemistry, you need to talk about someone from chemistry. If you are engineering, you need to talk about someone about engineering. But this is quite general knowledge, so anyone actually can discuss it. So what do you think? Is it obvious? If you found these 5 prior arts, can you easily found that we can basically anyone can make this one from rubber to avoid it become, because there is someone use it before from rubber to avoid slipperiness and so on. Do you think it's inventive or no? Inventive? Obvious or inventive? Obvious means not inventive. Obvious, so meaning that not inventive. Okay, let's see the examination. Okay, so the problem solution approach, choose the closest prior art, document 1, coffee cup with an air-shaped handle because D1, similar purpose. Difference between this D1 and our invention is that the addition of the handle made of rubber. Problem solution, the effect produced by additional technical feature is handle made of rubber. It increases the friction between the handle and the fingers of the user. So this is the additional feature and the additional technical effect from the feature. So now formulate objective technical problem. How to modify closest prior art so that the friction between the handle and the finger user increases. So now we are testing if we are inventive or not. So we found the closest prior art is what? Then we have our additional technical feature, which is the handle made of rubber. The additional effect is increasing the friction. Then the formulate objective technical problem, how to modify the prior art so that we increase the friction between the handle and the finger using the other common knowledge or the other prior arts. Is there a second prior art that has the additional technical feature? We can find document D to 5, disclose a handle made of rubber. Are these documents in the same or neighboring technical field? D2 is thermos bottle, is a neighbor technical field because we are still working in coffee and kitchenware and so on. Document 3 also can be considered neighboring. Document 4 also considered neighboring. Document 5, even though it's a rubber and can and so on, but it's not same technical field because it's more on engineering and greasing and so on. So basically, document 2, 3, 5 can be considered for attacking the invention set, but we cannot use document 5. Because document 5 is completely another field of science or industry. You need to use documents in the same field. The problem solution approach is the objective technical problem as formulated in step 4, solved by additional technical features of this document 2, 3, and 4. How to modify closest prior art so that the friction between the handle and feature finger user increases to reduce the slippery between the handle and the finger. You can see how to modify, okay. Document 2 state it also allows a steady grip of the handle. Implicitly refer that a user hand does not easily slip when a rubber handle is used. So we consider lack of inventive step in a term of closest prior art, document 1 and document 2 in combination. So if we combine document 1 and 2, basically we can reach to our invention, meaning that we cannot apply patent for our invention. But you still can apply for utility innovation. Okay? This is how actually patent agents do, and even examiners, they do this way. The examiners do this way. So you, when you want to apply for patent, want to check if you are really want to go for patent or no, you need to do something similar. So always this technical feature is really to make your life easier by you look exactly to the features, you cut them into small pieces, then easier for you to discuss them. Okay, so if you, this one's already known that it's not inventive, but if we continue discussion, D3 solve different problem. D3 actually it has also rubber and so on, but the problem it solves is different. It solves a problem of burning the finger, not a problem of slipperiness. This is why it's not, you cannot use the document 1 and 3 to attack inventive step because it's a different problem. Document 4 solves more or less similar problem because it mentioned also about slipperiness and using oil and so on. So basically, it has lack of inventive against document 1 and 4 also can be used to attack the inventiveness of your application or invention. Okay. Any question about the understanding and how to find if you are inventive, have inventive step or not? By general, looking without doing this table actually is very difficult to discuss because this is a very easy example. But when you come to our real inventions, you will find a prior art having claims of 1 page. Very difficult to put all this page in your mind compared to another one having maybe 10 claims, other has 15 claims. If you didn't come and cut them into small pieces, it's impossible. But now it's very easy because it's just a simple claim with few words, easy to do it. But other than that, the real inventions usually is very big. Okay, example and special case, combination of prior art documents. For example, the claim, your invention is a dining table having a wooden top and a number of legs, characterized in that the number of legs is equal to 3. So you want to invent a dining table with wood top and has 3 legs. Okay, so we searched and we found there is, even though maybe it's not written, but it's already known by use, document 1 table with 4 legs, like this one. Document 2 or prior art 2 milk stool with 3 legs for use on grazing land. Pictures. Okay, prior art is table with 4 legs like this. Then another prior art is a stool with 3 legs. To be stable in any land, you know, the 3 legs can be more stable if it's the land is not completely straight. So we have something already also known, like this one. Then the feature table, your invention, dining table having wooden top, number of legs, characterized by they are 3 legs. Document 1 has is a table, wooden top, and it has legs, but it's not 3, they have 4 legs, so different feature. Document 2, it's a wooden top, it has number of legs, and it has 3 legs, but it's not a dining table. Document 2, it's a milk stool. So now we need to see if we combine these two together, someone can really clearly go to make a wooden table with 3 legs to solve a problem of stability. Closest prior art is D1. Distinguished feature is 3 instead of 4. The technical effect is no wobbling on uneven surface. The problem, how to improve the table known for document 1 so that it does not wobble on uneven surface. The reasoning milk stool disclosed in D2 have 3 legs only. The grazing gland is an indication of stability in uneven surface. The skilled person would therefore apply the teaching of document 2 to document 1 in order to solve the problem of wobbling, therefore reducing the number of legs from 4 to 3. Okay, by this way, the claim is not inventive. Okay, so as mentioned before, it's novel for each one, but it's not inventive because we can combine these 2 documents to get to our invention. Example and special case, combination of prior arts, a process of producing a metal sheet in a process comprising the steps of heating the sheet, coating the sheets with the coating material, and carrying out the pressing operation. This is a process claim. Document 1, a process of forming a metal sheet in a press comprising the steps of heating in the sheet before forming. Document 2, formed metal sheet coated with material whereby the coating provides a good anti-corrosive property according to the problem to be solved in document 2. So this is 2 prior arts. So same, we follow the same steps. The closest prior art is 1 because it has the most feature. Distinguishing feature, the sheet is coated with A before forming. Technical effect, formability grade is improved, whereby reducing the risk of wrinkle and breaking. How to improve formability? Document 2 disclose the form sheet is coated, but it's actually the solution to solve here is the corrosion. But we are solving problem of forming the sheet. In this way, actually, skilled person in the art cannot use that teaching to solve the problem. Even though disclose, if you combine them together, they become almost like our patent. But every time, every prior art solves different problem. The one that in the art cannot like combine these 2 problems together, then it becomes inventive. As I mentioned, it has inventive step has a lot of subjectivity. Okay, I think this one also the same, just but they are more on engineering part because all of the examples they give are more as engineering. Okay, but this one is important. This one for medical and especially for pharmaceutical. The surprising synergistic effect. If the claim I want to make a combination, this is for combination drugs, especially for combination drugs. We have some patent before, because you remember the Dr. Sinan one, combination gabapentin and carbamazepine. This is fall under this one. A mixture of medicine consisting of analgesic A and a sedative S, for example. Okay, prior art discloses the analgesic and prior art D2 discloses the sedative. It's very common, like we have, for example, paracetamol and ibuprofen. One is both of them, for example, they are analgesic and ibuprofen is analgesic and also anti-inflammatory. You want to combine them in one formulation, right? We have patent for paracetamol, we have patent for ibuprofen. Do you think we can patent the combination? Here is this case is about this one. Okay, the distinguished feature is the. Okay, I think we can just explain it directly. For this synergistic, surviving synergistic effect, you cannot patent the combination until you prove there is an unexpected synergistic effect. A simple synergistic effect cannot. Because anyone in the pharmaceutical field know that if you combine two painkillers, for example, you will get better, stronger painkilling. But if you prove that it's beyond the expected feature, then okay. This is very common also for antibacterial effects and so on. If the synergy doesn't come only from the addition of this to this, then you cannot patent this one. But if there is a surprising or unexpected feature come, for example, combining from the first antibacterial, another, for example, not antibacterial, another medication, but this combination increase the effect of the antibacterial. Then you can patent this one because it's unexpected. But two antibacterials, anyone expect they will give better antibacterial effect. Cannot combine. But if there is unexpected synergistic feature, then you can patent that one. So this is a summary of this one. So the technical effect or the distinguished feature is the sedative added. The analgesic effect of A is intensified in a way which could not be predicted as the sedative appeared not to have any painkilling effect. So the unexpected effect is thus achieved. To improve the analgesic, the problem to improve the analgesic effect. Because if you give the sedative alone, it will not have any painkiller effect. Okay, but when you give the sedative to the painkiller, it unexpectedly increase the painkilling effect. I think this is the case of, if not mistaken, paracetamol and tramadol. I think, if not mistaken, because there is combination between the tramadol alone. I think it's not sure how strong as painkiller, but paracetamol is also painkiller. But if you combine, I think the combination is beyond the addition of the painkiller of each of them. Let's say this one painkiller will reduce the pain 10%. This one reduces 10%. If you combine, you will get 80% reduction of painkilling. This one is really unexpected because you expect to get 20, 30 painkilling or reduced pain, but you got really synergistic. This is very important for pharmaceutical use. Okay, now, if this one is, if the effect you found is expected by this addition, cannot. But if it's unexpected, meaning that Nigella sativa already known to have some antibacterial effect. It has, because timokinone has some antibacterial effect. Gentamicin already known to have. But it's already in the, as far it's already in the literature, it's already has this effect. But if it's, for example, you want. Yeah, if you got it higher to the limit that you prove it's unexpected, because here it comes to the subjectivity. You need to convince the examiner it's unexpected. For example, the antibacterial effect of, you found the gentamicin in a specific concentration, it killed IC50 is, for example, 10 microgram per ml. Nigella sativa has 1 milligram per ml. If you combine there is some calculation, I think, for the if it has an adjustment mode. If you combine, you find the combination really is beyond the simple addition of this effect. Then I think you can convince the examiner that it has unexpected synergistic effect, and you can patent this combination. But the simple addition of features cannot. Analogous use of pulse control technique for controlling the electric motor driving the auxiliary mechanism of industrial truck. Use of pulse, the prior art, the use of pulse control technique for controlling the effect propulsion motor, electric propulsion motor of industrial truck. The advantage achieved with respect to the use of conventional control are disclosed and are in any case generally known to the person skilled in the art. This one, okay, the pulse, this is the solution. The pulse control is applied to the auxiliary mechanism. This one a bit engineering, maybe I will leave it for a few seconds for engineering people to read, because even if I read, I don't understand much. It's not my field. Okay, so basically you can read and see how they apply it. Okay, the last feature for patentability is the industrially applicable or industrial application. An invention shall be considered industrially applicable if it can be made or used in any kind of industry. Usually there's no problem with this feature. But just for fun, maybe, there is sometimes there is patents, especially outside, like the patentability also criteria different from, this is the one that we talk is quite general. But in terms of something specific, you'll find it's a bit different between countries, especially when it's related to the culture and religious and so on. There is one patent, I'll try to find it later to show it to you. Method of activating the pet or the cat by using laser. So they use the laser pointer to point the laser in the ground. The cat will follow the laser point. This is a patent. It's already available in US patent, but really no one knows what is the application of this one, and where they will use, and what are they going to protect. The one who patented such thing, what is he is trying to protect? But it's applied, I think, granted as well. As far as you prove in your patent it has application, I don't know what he write to prove the applicability of this one, but you can find some patents are really very weird. Non-patentable inventions. Okay, so this is this non-patentable invention part is quite different between different countries, because it's also related to their culture and religious, especially. But there is some general criteria. For example, discoveries, scientific theories, and mathematical methods, they are non-patentable. And this is why I think we see no one from pharmacy practice, no one from math or business, because these things cannot be patented. Okay, for example, 2006 here in Malaysia, they found USM found fish believed to be the second smallest fish in the world, 10 millimeter long. They name it Penang. They name it hippo fish or something like this. Forgot what is the name they give it. This cannot be patented because this is a scientific discovery. Scientific discovery, they cannot be patented. Scientific theories like Einstein equation cannot be patented. Mathematical methods also cannot be patented, like method of solving logarithmic something and so on cannot be patented. Non-patentable inventions, plant or animal varieties or essentially biological processes for the production of plants or animals other than man-made living microorganisms, microbiological processes, and products of such microorganisms. This one different from between Malaysia and other countries. I think in US it's allowed because in US basically they said anything under the sun can be patented. They can allow patenting of anything, but this one also because it's somehow touch the religious part because we are not allowed to modify the creatures, is it? So this is why Malaysia they don't allow such patents. This is for example, a chicken without feeder. So solve the technical, the industrial problem of removing the feeder of the chicken. So cannot be patented in Malaysia. In US, I think this one from Israel or somewhere. Non-patentable inventions, schemes, rules, or methods for doing business, performing purely mental acts or playing games. This one cannot be patented. For example, you take this example, a method for playing chess cannot be patented. For example, a method of electronic fashion shopping by a customer using an electronic medium comprising the steps of receiving a personal code number to access a database of fashions, accessing a personal information record based on the input personal code number, outputting a body type data based on the personal information record, receiving cloth item to shop from the customer, receiving selection information from the customer, and outputting an order for the cloth item and invoice for the customer and an inventory record of all items ordered by the customer. You see, it's a method of doing business, method of doing sale or online sale or so on. The method here cannot be patented. Okay, take for example this one. A method of generating curve comprising the steps of detecting a circle arc passing through 3 discrete given consecutively points, this one for math, determining a tangent vector and so on, determining a curve smoothly connecting the 2 points, determining a point sequence connecting curve by performing spline interpretation and so on. I'm not really understand all these steps. Dr. Ashti, Dr. from engineering, you understand these steps? Not from the field. From? Okay, ICT. Oh, okay. We need someone from math or something. Do you think this one patentable? Cannot, because methods of doing business or schemes or mental acts, something like performing mental acts. Okay, the second similar one, a method of machining a 3-dimensional curved surface comprising the steps of detecting the circular same steps, determining the tangent, determining a curve, determining a point sequence, and machining the 3-dimensional curved surface according to the point sequence connecting the curve. Do you think this one patentable or not? I think this one is CNC machine. Method of doing CNC machine, the one that cutting according to a specific drawing and so on. Do you think it's patentable? No, not methods. We have patentable methods because patents either product or process. Process means method, process, use, all under method, we call it. And we have product patent, device, product, system, and so on. So do you think this one patentable? We have now yes and no. Yes, no. Why yes? Step E, okay. Actually, yes, correct, patentable, because it's not a pure mental act. This is actually a process, a real process. Method of machining, I mean cutting or cutting or what we call grinding or something like this. Using the steps of making the drawing, calculating the central point, calculating whatever, but at the end, we do the machining. So basically, it's a process. Like if you want to do, for example, for extraction, method for extraction involving there's some step calculating the average temperature. If you want only calculating average temperature, cannot, but it's part of the process. At the end, it's extraction process. Okay, but involves some mathematical equations and mathematical methods. It can be patented. Non-patentable inventions, methods for the treatment. This one also important for medical. Methods for treatment of a human or animal body by surgery or therapy, and diagnostic methods practiced on the human or animal body. Okay, the method for doing surgery and treatment cannot be patented, but the product using this method can be patented. Okay, it's clear? If you, for example, you are a surgery and you want to do some kind of bone surgery in a different way, you cannot patent this method. But if you develop a product, for example, a seizure or a fixation product to use in that surgery, yes, you can patent the product. Method for treatment or diagnostic cannot, but the kit used for diagnosis can. For example, the method for diagnosing COVID using PCR, taking the sequence of the RNA, finding the primers and so on, this cannot be patented. But the product, the kit for using can, even though they follow the sequence, the process, but it's a product. Okay, any question about non-patentable inventions? This one applied in Malaysia. This is from the Patent Act in Malaysia, but other countries you may find significantly different criteria. Okay, last thing is using function analysis approach, the way that we came across it several times now, but there is I have several slides only for that one. Okay, will not take long time because we already have the idea now. So how to use this function analysis approach? It was introduced by this one International Federation of Intellectual Property Attorneys. Actually, patent examiners in Malaysia, I think they use this one. This is what I remember they told us during the training. So if you use it, you can actually increase your chance for approval granting. So the first step, what does it do? Identify what is the problem to be solved. Identify the problems that the invention address. Okay. What does it do? What functions are necessary to meet the goal? Initial function analysis, something to, something to, something to. Then identify the difference from what is known. So this will help you to write your claims. When you already found some prior arts and some similar, because you need to do your research first and similar to your invention and so on. Then these steps will help you to write your claims to be different from the prior arts, so that can be novel and inventive. So identify the problem to be solved, identify the problem that the invention addressed, what functions are necessary to meet the goal. So what you need, different functions to solve the problem. What is the differences of the invention from what is known, the prior art? So you can do this comparison. Then relate each difference to a problem. So we are interested to know the differences because A, B already known, no need to do much on it, but we need to highlight and focus on the differences. Relate each difference to a problem. Does the difference avoid or reduce the problem? Does the difference provide an advantage? So here, we need to find something in our additional feature. Then, if there is no more than one difference to problem feature, choose the best feature to be the inventive concept, or consider the possibility of more than one inventive concept. So try to find what is the best one to be considered as inventive in your application. Because at the end, you write a 10 pages application with several claims, but at the end there is a small feature that is really is your invention, not everything. Because like 90% is already known. Extraction known, using a solvent known, using a temperature known. There is something very small. You add it's very important. This is your invention. You need to know your invention. This is actually the most important step to know if it's inventive or no, or to go for invention or no. You need to pick up or you need to discover your invention. If your work is merely replicating previous one or just modifying it a little bit, you may get it published in very high impact journal, yes. But when it comes to a patent, it may not be patentable. Because you need to find what is the difference, what is the add-on you have, the advantage you add, or the problem you solve. Then prepare main claim, convert from function to structure, parts of the claim, a title. Tomorrow we'll see how to write the claim, and apparatus, for example, permeable is 4, then the transition term. First, apparatus 4, then solving the problem or here, the function, comprising or consisting of feature 1, feature B, feature C, then you need to put whereby or wherein the connectivity between them or the some feature between them. So this is actually how we write the claim, but we will discuss that further later. So from this, after you analyze your patent or your invention compared to prior art, now start writing, and you already highlight what is the difference and you want to focus on it. Start writing the claim by converting it to structure like this, apparatus or a method for extracting something, comprising the steps of step 1, 2, 3, wherein or whereby focus on the step C, which is your invention. Now, test the claim and refine. Does it cover the inventive product? Does it avoid the prior art? Does it have any unnecessary limitation? This one also important. Have you added more features that not necessary? Because more features you add, actually more restriction you add. Does the element relate to each other adequately? Is the claim clear? Draw the invention based on your claims. Does the thing as claimed work? Accurate terminology. Check the antecedents. The said, this is the punctuation. Support in the drawing. So this one, after you do the claim, you review it, check all these criteria, and you can always read and refine, This is why it takes some time, not the first draft to will work. You need to refine it a few times. Last, prepare dependence claim. Continue testing the claim and refine. Because this is to prepare the independent claim, which is the most important. After that, prepare dependent claims, which specify each feature. You can widen it more. We see it also tomorrow, inshallah. But the most important part is to pick up, to discover your invention by yourself. Because only you actually can know what is the invention in your work. Because your work, only maybe a small part is the invention. This is why if you just throw everything to the patent agent, it's impossible for him to find your invention. You need to find the invention by yourself. Example, functional analysis. For example, an improved wheelbarrow. The invention and improved wheelbarrow, the prior art normal wheelbarrow. The inventor told you, I have invented, and maybe it's new yourself, I have invented an improved wheelbarrow by replacing the conventional wheel with a plastic wheel. The surface area of the ball, which is larger than the conventional wheel, allows the wheelbarrow to be used on soft soil and also more stable with heavy loads on uneven ground. So this is the invention. He thinks like this, and this is the problem he wants to solve. So what does it do to assist a user to improve a load using a lifting force less than the weight of the load, especially for a lever? What does it do it? How does it do it? Initial function analysis, something to provide a ground engaging portion, the wheel, something to provide lifting portion, something to support. So this is how to achieve this function. We need these features to achieve this function in step 1. We need something to support the load. We need something to join all items together. Identify the difference from what is known. So conduct prior art search and find this one. Construct the feature table. Okay, so this is the feature table. A wheelbarrow, similar. A wheel available. Handler is there, or handle. Tray or container there. Chassis is there. The wheel is in a form of plastic ball, so it's only a feature, not actually one of the components, but it's like a property, like characterized by. The wheel is a plastic ball, is not in the prior art. So the main difference is the wheel is a form of a ball. Then relate each difference to a problem. Does the difference avoid or reduce the problem or make advantage? A wheel in a form of plastic ball improves the maneuverability of the wheelbarrow on soft soil and uneven ground. So if there is more than one difference feature, choose the best feature or consider the possibility of more than one inventive step. A wheel in a form of plastic ball, it improves the maneuverability of the wheelbarrow. So it's only one feature here. Prepare a mini claim, choose the title, this essential features, based on the initial function analysis, link them to each other. Convert from function to structure. So write a movable structure for moving a load over the ground by using a lifting force, which is a fraction of the load comprising chassis, including first and second end, the first end being adapted to rest on the ground, and the second end being adapted to be lifted by user. A load support coupled to the chassis for receiving the load support being spaced from the second and from second end towards the first end. The ending characterized in that the first and having a spherical wheel that is rotably movable on soft soil and on an even ground. So this is the addition. So this criteria. Prepare the main claim. So this is how you write the claim later. A movable structure or moving a load. So you write it as basically this one is a detailed one, but this is you need to reformat it based on the what we will learn next, the patent regulation. Reformat it in this way. Now you can test this claim and refine it. Prepare dependent claim. Dependent claim takes small part and expand it. This is the main claim, the independent claim. This is a dependent claim, a movable structure as claimed in claim 1, whereby the spherical wheel is made of plastic. Okay, a movable structure wherein you can add another feature. For example, the chassis is made of metal or made of wood, something like this. You can add actually one dependent made of metal, one dependent made of wood, because in you think it applied to both. Can be made of wood or metal. Don't put, if this is not the main feature, don't put it in the independent claim. Put it as a dependent, like this. This is the way to write the claim, because if you put it in the independent claim, you make it more restrictive. If you put the spherical wheel, now our feature is spherical wheel in the independent claim. But for example, I think if the one is not is very new to the patent writing, he will write the first end in the form of a plastic spherical wheel. You will write it because this is the main feature, a plastic spherical wheel. If you put it like this and someone else came to make a rubber spherical wheel, basically you cannot sue them because rubber is not plastic. Your claim is plastic spherical wheel, but he make it from rubber. So basically he is free to manufacture that one. But now you make it spherical wheel. You protect yourself against any spherical wheel made of anything. Then you want to give more examples, more dependent claims, you call them. You can specify spherical wheel is plastic, spherical wheel is blah blah blah. You can make more dependent claims, but the main protection comes from the independent claim. So here is the meaning of does it have unnecessary limitation? When you add a word plastic, you add a limitation. You remove it if it's not necessary. Okay, I think that's the all for patentability, which I consider the most difficult part in the figuring out the patent, comparing your patent to find if it's patentable or no, compare it with the prior art. And the most difficult part in it is the inventive step. And the solution and the easy way to do it is using the functional analysis and the feature table. Using the feature table actually is the most important part to do to understand the inventive step and mobility. Any question? Tomorrow, inshallah. Tomorrow we will get it with the template and system, and how to write each part. So tomorrow. There is now we learn Patent Act. That one patent regulation. It will specify how to format, what is the component of the paragraph to include and how to write them and so on. That one is patent regulation. Patent regulation is not the same as patent act. Dependent, it's tomorrow also, because tomorrow is when we draft them, we see why we do dependent claims. But there is many tricks to do this. One of the tricks is what we learn here, but it's not the only reason. But it's already included in tomorrow's session, inshallah. Because the dependent claim, it gives more like examples from the independent one. So the independent one is the one that like it has the protection. You protect yourself using the independent claim. Then the dependent claim will widen your protection or giving it more to become more clear or more examples for it, for example. But we don't put it in the independent because we will restrict the independent, the limitation. Okay, shall we continue to the last one? Is patent search. It's not very long. Last one is patent search. As researchers, this one is quite easy to continue. Should we continue? Or you want to bring the coffee here? Or you want to bring the coffee here? Okay, we just if you want to bring something, you can just bring it here. Give 2 minutes to bring coffee or toilet and stuff.
Are we comparing to the
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So we continue with the last session today, the patent search. As a researcher, usually this is not a big problem because we already know how to do literature search, is it? But now we need to know how to twist that one to become a patent search. So why we do patent search? To find out the invention is truly original, so we can decide to proceed for filing or not. So this is the purpose of patent search. Basically, is to know the patentability of our invention. The commonly used database for search, We have free databases or free search engines, which the most common, I think you know, is the Google Patent. And we have another one called eSpaceNet. Basically, these two, they are used by MyIPO. We have paid databases, but they are, I think, very expensive. No, I think no company, no university in Malaysia subscribe to that one. I'm not sure. But Google Patent and this eSpaceNet actually is sufficient. As I remember, in MyIPO, they use this too. They don't use the paid one. So they will search using this one. Lens. I think lens name is it? I don't prefer to use it. I'm not sure because I'm not familiar with it. Coverage, I'm not sure. But the Google Patent, I think, is even good enough. We will go only for Google Patent. Free. Because I want to use the browser directly. So if you go for Google Patent, okay, the coverage of Google Patent, you will see it here. This is patent offices covered a lot. US, Japan, China. No, this is Malaysia, but I think Malaysia only abstract. So total actually a lot. Go for about. This is, you can see the coverage of. Is the currently indexed full text documents from the following offices: United States, Europe, Japan, China, South Korea, WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization, Russia, and so on. These are the full texts available. Thanks. It is sufficient. Okay. To search for patent, you can start basically with as simple as the literature search, but we need to refine that one. It's, I think it's good if we see a patent first. See how the patent looks like. This is a US patent, for example, or I think it's an Australian patent, or so this is how it looks like. The first page is the kind of information page or the bibliography page. You see these numbers here. You will see what is these numbers, and this is the office and so on. And this is the patent number, and this is another words. It has a meaning also. This titles numbers are very important because they are same all over patent offices, all over the languages, meaning that 54 for title. Even though if you cannot read the patent, the language, you look for 54, it's for title. 51 for this one, 21 for application number. Okay, so these numbers are agreed numbers all over the world. Application number, date of filing, priority date, okay, publication date, applicant, inventors, attorney or the agent, related arts like citations. Patent classification, also this is the one that we learned today. We will learn today. It's a very, very important one. See these classifications. International application number, BCT, start with BCT, meaning that they go through BCT application. International filing date, filing language, application language, So these all the Asian designated states. This one we for US. This one the title, abstract, with international research report. Okay, this one. This is how it looks like. This is the one that you won't need to draft is this one. The title description. We call it patent description or patent specification. So this is technical field of the disclosure, background. The format is a bit different from Malaysia, but in general it's quite similar, but not same exactly. Summary of the disclosure. Brief description of the drawings. See, this is a very big detailed description. Claims. So this is actually your what we call your property of the invention is the claims. What you are protected here is the claims. What you own is the claims. But you can see they write a lot of text. 27 pages as almost as text examples and how it works, descriptions and so on. So they disclose it in a very, very detailed way. Okay? You will find later why we do this, even much more than publication. So this is the claims, claim 1 and device comprising 1, 2, 3, wherein this one how they connect each other and wherein the first and second sheets do this. Claim 2, this one dependent claim. The irrigation device of claim 1, where is at least one of the first and second sheets do this, and this is claims, they are dependent claims. This is another independent claim. This one dependent claims. Okay, this is the drawings. So this is how the patent looks like. Okay, what do you want to search for? Anyone want to try searching something? So let's take some real or close example other than going through very general. Any device or process? Coffee. Wait, please read not. Please. Okay. Basically, this is a simplified one. To go for the advanced one, you just click this one. You go to the advanced because you need the advanced one. Okay. There is the, you can see there are 24,000 results. So definitely you cannot read all of them. So you need to, if you are looking to refine your prior art, you need to reduce this number a lot. So here, also it gives you just a general overview. I think this one is similar to the one that in Lens and so on. Okay. Simulation. I don't think it would make much difference. $16,000. Okay, there is general concept of using and or, which is basically the same all the search engines. But here, if you put different words next to each other, they are considered here. Okay, this one will be considered if they appear anywhere in the text. This not exactly if they are next to each other. If you want them next to each other, you need to go to brackets. This one general need to put this bracket, meaning that this term exactly not found, because you need to look for this exactly this one, which may be a very, because maybe you are using this one this way, but other inventors using it in different terms, so you cannot find them like this. Even this one cannot find. So it's not preferred to use these terms. If you use properties formulation, you will find only 31. Okay, but it's not preferred to start with this one because it's a very restrictive criteria. You may miss some important features. Okay, so properties formulation, for example, if you add more, it means more. So here it looks for properties. Properties formulation, 2 words, or you can add more here. Okay, if you add in another line, I think it means and. And for example, if you want to look for properties, now it's 40,000, 85,000. If we add and formulation, 79,000, because it has properties and formulation, 2 words. But if you are looking for properties, or for example, B or up formulation, let's say formulation or formula, because some of them may use the word formula. Some of them may use another synonym. So add all the synonyms here. Propolis, maybe it has another name. For example, what we got another name for propolis? Okay, but if it has another name, you add it here, because here you add synonyms. And formulation or formula or composition. It's very common in patent. We don't use formulation, we use composition. To make sure you are not losing important prior art. Okay, basically it's similar because basically all appear in the same one. But this one, no. This one, this graph, this one, okay, all right. Because you missed one small point. You can go for advanced search directly, but if you go for Google patents, okay, because this one, okay, you don't have the advanced one. You click at this one. Click here. There is the pencil. There's pencil here. Just click on this one. You click on this pencil, you will find the advanced one. Okay, basically we should read a little bit on The time is not sufficient actually to go for all the, or you just click down from advanced search, it will automatically go for this one, advanced search. And if you want to go more, basically you start to try to read this one, but I not sufficient time to go for all of them. This one, if you want to see the using and or. Each search term and search field box is added together, and you can add an or to each term by clicking inside a box to the right of the existing query term. So this is the important part. This and this is and, but inside the box is or. So if you want to have police and formulation and a specific medical use, for example, if you are looking for use in, what is the benefit of this? Everything. Oral. Okay. So we are looking for applications that contain the word propolis, formulation, and oral. But it can be formulation or formula or composition or any. You can add all the synonyms you think they are using in their applications. Okay, maybe some of them they use oral, some of them they use maybe oral is vaginal or take it by mouth or something. If there is any other term, you can put it here because this is oral. Okay, so you add the synonyms here. So you add the keywords all here, so you can restrict a bit your results. But the important part is this one. Okay, the important part. Okay, can I have your attention? Because however you do in the, whatever you do in the keywords will not restrict your number of search to the small number that manageable. So what restricts that one is this one, the use of classification. This is an agreed classification all over the world. This is all the classifications. What I mean by classifications, you remember we always check the patent according to the field of invention. Okay, they classify the patents when they file the patents. They put classification for each patent according to their field. So for a human necessities, start with simple A. For performance, operation, transportation, start with B. Actually, you know how many classifications we have total? I think 60,000. Under this one, there is a lot. By knowing the closest classification, you will find your prior art. You can, I think, I forgot how many. I think 60,000 something. But under each one, it has so big tree. Yes. For example, A for human necessities. Okay. Under A01, agriculture, foodstuff and tobacco under A2. Then personal or domestic articles under A4. Under health this one A6. So for example, under personal or domestic articles, A41, if it's heatwear, A42, if you are looking for A42, we have hats, heat coverings, and so on. So basically, you can, if you are looking for this one, you just put this classification in your search. So it will look only the patents in this field. So you will restrict a lot, and you are narrowing down your search. So if you are looking for example, if you can basically go for browsing until you reach, for example, personal domestic articles, see if we are under which one. Health, medical, science, hygiene is not here. Life saving, sports, subject matter, no, there's provided in adults. Maybe medical or veterinary. So you find diagnostic, surgery, identification, dentistry, apparatus, this one, and so on. Okay, you can also, if you can search here, for example, if you are looking for health supplement, for example, what we can, weight loss. Not sure if it fine. These are the classifications related to hair loss, but you can see in the first one, computing arrangements based on biological methods not related. Drugs, disorders, and metabolism, maybe we can put this one in the search. Medicine preparation containing organic active ingredients, maybe this one. We can put it in our search. You can see even you can narrow down more. To narrow down this, so you can see we have a lot. You can narrow down more and more. But if you don't want, if you are not very sure, take the general, the big one. For example, A61K. No, E-SpaceNet, this one.
I didn't think that
You got the same one, worldwide E-SpaceNet. You put in the search weight loss, exactly. It didn't come out with it. Here. This one, not sure, but sometimes maybe the screen size or browser, different browser or something. Okay, so if we are looking for A61K, for example, if we add it here, we want to search A61K. Now 7,000. So you can add a more restrictive, you can, there's some suggestion actually. Let's take, for example, this one. Now we have 3 results only. If we narrow down your field, you will have a very small number manageable, maybe 20, 30. If 20, 30, 2 pages, you can basically read the titles and pick up the closest one. So what I want to teach you here is these classifications. Other than that, everything is very standard, you know already. The use of and or, the use of brackets, and the use of exclamation marks. Or you can read them in here. You can just read them in the Google teaching. Yeah, doing this one. But the important part I want to show you is the classification, because this is really what makes difference. Okay. And if you are still not very familiar, if you will go back to the more general one, pick up something like a bit, okay, oral composition comprising properties. This one looks similar and it's already in the patent. You can see there its classification. Okay, classification. This is this patent classification. So from this one, basically, you can quickly find what is your classification. So this one, honey, royal jelly, and propolis. This classification is only for honey, royal jelly, propolis. So basically, this is a very related classification. This classification is beeswax, propolis, and royal jelly, and honey. So these are the classification for this patent, which looks very similar to your patent. So you can put these terms under or and in your search. If you have, just wait for that then. Okay, if you find these classifications, you will see that majority or all of them start with A61, A61K, and we have A61B. So you can see if you don't start with restricting to put all this classification because it will be very restricting. Put A61K and A61B. You can see A61K is for medical. We have more than one. Medical preparations, and A61B for drug for disorders of the metabolism. So no need to put all the second level of classification, put A61 and A61B, but put it under OR to find. So A61K or A61B. 7,000. Then now, if you know, you can restrict more by adding more words or narrowing down the classification to restrict your search result. Because sometimes what happens if you are looking for propolis and formulation, you may find it under extraction. Some people extracting the propolis, and there is maybe 50,000 patents for extraction. But your field is formulation for medical use. So basically, you need to exclude those for extraction. So this is why we apply classification to narrow down the field so that we find the closest pure one. Patent examiners do this one to find the pure one because they cannot compare with everything. They need to restrict until they find the closest pure ones. There is multi-level, like 61K. Under the 61K, we have 31. A lot of subs. If we don't start with the final one, because you may miss out few results. Start with slowly restricting until you find the narrowing down. If your medicine preparation containing organic active ingredient, and if your active ingredient is carbocyclic, so directly search for this one. No need to search for hydrogenated hydrocarbons. So you can exclude this one. Okay, we have these kind codes, we call them. So this one different a little bit from patent office to another one. It's commonly to see them we found here the B1, B2, A1, A2. So the meaning of this one, you need to check what is the meaning for Australian office, but for you is A1 mean patent publication pre-granted. Okay, so A1 mean pre-granted, meaning that the publication that they publish after the 18 months. Because it's not yet granted, it's the one that they receive, they publish. But the B1 and B2, the one that is granted, previously published publication. This one, the patent after granting. Okay, so you can find the one that granted is marked with B, because they will publish both the original one, the modifications, the granted one. So the A is the application itself, B is the granted one. And you will find, I think, in the Google, you will find a nice linkage between them. You can find this one is A, meaning that this one is actually the first publication. Is maybe this is not granted yet, or maybe granted, but this is the non-granted one, the application itself. So the status is pending. You can see it's filed from 2006. Still pending. This is the journey of the one. This is the publication date. Yeah. There is also the patent citation from here. Also, if this one is very related, you can see, you can click the patent citations or cited by, similar to journals, because this will give you also related patents, because this patent cited other patents and also cited by other patents, but they are all, of course, related. So by this way also, you can, let's see, cited by. So this is another patent, of course, will be related to this patent. You can pick up some of that close prior art from here as well. We have this one, the init codes, the numbers I showed you. This is the codes. So 10 meaning that something that are concerning application for patent, 70s. These are the name. I think the link give a straightforward meaning. No need to remember all of them, but there are some of them you should quickly or remember them. For example, the title or the priority date, priority details, the date of filing. Because if you get lost by the, you can see there is a lot of information here. So where is the title? Where is the filing date or the priority date? Because you are interested more in the priority date to know if you are infringing, if you know more on the, you want to see if you can use the patent or not. So you can check for the priority date. So you look for number 30. Is the priority data. I think this is 31, 32, 33. So you can directly jump to here. See, because another, like US patent, maybe they arrange their data in different ways. But always 30 is for priority data. Wherever Malaysian patent also, they are arranged in different format. So to avoid getting lost, just remember the important ones: priority dates, the title, if you are looking for who is the applicant who owned the patent, remember 71. So 71, just directly to 71. So this is quickly the search strategy. Of course, like what we do in literature search, brainstorming some keywords, related keywords, determine the initial classification, the one that we mentioned, CBC, verify relevancy and definitions, start to narrow down, and check the classification title if it's related, and narrow down the more related. Search patent documents, then until it becomes manageable, like 2-3 pages in Google, maybe 30-40 applications is okay. You can read the titles and pick up which one is more relevant. Review the claims and drawings and specifications, and check cited references if you want also to see other related documents. This is basically a general strategy to follow. Just a quick, actually, overview of the patent search. So that's the most important part, I think, the new one for you. I think everything is already known for you, but the classification. Focus on the classification. Okay, I think that's all for me. Any questions? Yeah. Yes, but you always need to select the correct one so that you can quickly jump to the closest prior art. Start with more general and specify more. This is in the same field. You will see the details of that field. For example, medical use for example, epilepsy. But under that one, there is, for example, just maybe not real tablet, capsule, oral, liquid preparation. So if your formulation is liquid, pick up the liquid one directly. Okay, any question?
Yes, Dr. Abdul Mana.
Yes.
Salam alaikum. Prof Miftah here again from College of Engineering. Okay, when we do this patent search, I mean, I think there is many, like say engines, whatever, to do this search, right? Like you showed Google patent, the one we use usually for FRGS and stuff, lance.org or whatever. So is there any specific one that it is required by MyIPO or
Yeah, as far as I know, but maybe it's a bit 2-3 years back that for teaching, they use Google Patent and eSpaceNet. Both of them free. But now Google Patent from that time, every year was expanding. I think now Google Patent is sufficient, but the one that I know, MyIPO use eSpaceNet and Google Patent.
Okay, because like the ministry, I mean, the one for FRGS and the other grants, they ask us to use lance.org. So
the strategy of search and the use of these classifications is same.
yeah, exactly. Just I want to see if they recognize a specific search engine, or so like you mentioned now it's Google Patent and the other. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, any question? Yeah, I think if no question, I thank you very much. And Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. See you tomorrow, inshallah. Dr. Farah, you want to say anything? Okay, then we close this session with Tasbih Kafara and Salat. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.